So there's a higher vantage point we can see our humanity through, always. And tonight, what is the one being shared is the vantage point that sees through the eyes of the Divine Mother, let's say. Because now is Navaratri, the Hindu celebration of the goddess in all her forms. And an idea of the goddess or our relationship to the goddess can be summoned in the context, specifically with the example of time in our life. Because time, as humans perceive it, is warped and limited compared to how the goddess herself, which can be thought of as the dimension of time, if you want to think of the masculine or Shiva as being beyond time, as being nothingness, as being transcendent of the world of creation and form, which is Shakti. Both are one, timelessness and time, ebb and flow, and what's the word? They warp into each other. It's just the nature of reality. Time is not an absolute. And yet it is important to reckon with and to understand the grace that it offers us and its promise for our evolution and for our return through the cycles of time back into the center of the circle, which was always actually the center. Here now, there's always that Shiva transcendent, and then there's a cyclical aspect of that becoming and merging into that realization where we're in the realms of creation and time, and also in connection with our timeless self, which sounds very esoteric, but I guess the practical application I'm trying to speak to is that time takes care of everything, in the sense that we are often so hard on ourselves through our limited, made-up ideas of where we should be, where we're trying to attain to, as if there's a point B to get to rather than point A that's always here. And we blame ourselves, we shame ourselves, we judge ourselves in ways that cause us to fear and to worry about what is happening on earth, what is happening in our lives. The very good news, something that's worth divine celebration, is that we are always in the perfect place, in the right trajectory, and the success of our realization of the fullness of who we are, the highest good for all, within that fullness, within that wholeness of the one that we are altogether, that is inevitable to realize. And the way that that is realized is first through forgetting. The only way to success is through what we can call failure. But at that point, it's no longer failure if it's necessary to reach success, right? All the most successful people will say, I got here by failing a lot. But there's no such thing as failure, because the universe is always self-correcting. The universe is always learning. The universe is always integrating. And any lesson within the infinite is integrated as a useful part in it knowing itself and developing and maturing through that. And so this can be funny in our human experience. We always feel like this is the ultimate. And every moment, all we know is all we have here and now. And we can know the most transcendent truths in the moment. We can have a sense of it because it transcends the mind, what the truth is in this moment, who we are. We can trust that we are the fullness. We are all of it. We are the eternal. We are the infinite now. And that is more than enough. We don't have to get anywhere to be that. And we can also trust, on some level, if we want, we can play with the idea that we are also completely immature right now. as a species, as a being, that we will become so much more. And we will blow ourselves away with how little we knew and how little we had actualized yet. It's all a paradox. All this creation is like a funhouse mirror. So we simultaneously have come so far in time from the beginning of time to get to this point right now. The universe, nature, life, the cosmos, solar system, the earth, humanity, mammals, the stardust has gone through such a process that has evolved into such grace and majesty and hyper-intelligent quality of diverse manifestation as all this intricate, beyond masterpiece that is all that has manifested at this point of universal history. And yet this is nothing. It's a speck of dust, a blip of an eye in the infinite, which is always here in every moment. Every moment is collapsing time to birth. Where simultaneously we think our mind is references often ourselves into the past, when actually to be fully true in the present is not to be as concerned with where we've come from. But in that open-mindedness of being present here now, we are constantly summoning from the future, creating the future. The future is the realm of infinite possibilities. And within every single moment of our history, of our past, everything is perfectly transpiring in a mysterious way that doesn't have to be understood intellectually or seen right now for how it is, but will be revealed for its perfection. The unity of consciousness functions in such a way that in every moment, everything is inevitably, there is a way for it to be realized as a perfect part of what is occurring or actualizing that can be integrated as service, transmuted from its shadow, from its unconscious shunning, and seeing that shadow is a gift, that the process of forgetting, of being immature, of the shadow is what has allowed us from the mud to become the lotus, to find the gift, to realize the light, to ascend to the next evolution, the next level of evolution of humanity, of consciousness awakening in the new earth, that the dark ages were necessary, that our ignorance was necessary, and that a beautiful story is created through that, not one that we are bound by, but one that perfectly empowers us to dream ourselves awake in the most paradoxically fresh and exciting and mysterious way, to realize ourselves as a deeper force of nature, of time, a clockwork, a process of evolution, of ascension. They say we've reached the 11th hour. We're about to take back into the rebirth, the renewal from the top of the circle of creation we started from, and truly realize ourselves at that starting top point of the source as a funnel for that, to constantly birth anew and to know ourselves fully as that wholeness. Now we can fully be on a higher level, realize ourselves that on an absolute abstract level, but a fundamental reality, a ground of perfection of all, the interconnectivity of all, the higher design of it all, bringing us all together, harmonizing us now, and continuing to reach the object at the end of time, as Terence McKenna calls it. For example, this increase in the harmonization of the algorithm of co-creation, life coming closer to itself. We can just talking about crazy spiritual blah 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 time and paradoxes in the universe funneling through us and shit. Just with a reminder that we need to go through what we go through. We need to go through the challenges in order to ascend, in order to have the leverage to ascend, right? Carl Jung says a tree can only branch to heaven, as it is said, if its roots go into hell. So wherever we are is perfect, and we are always perfecting. There's always greater harmony being found, and we don't have to try to control it to make it that, because it's already the fundamental baseline of reality, is a fact of unity, a fact of cohesion, a fact of harmony that transcends manifested appearance, transcends how we think it is. And yet it manifests, that nature manifests more when we recognize it already as such, that the incompleteness is already the fullness of what we could most desire, and there is nothing missing there. Because in that process gets to be the experience of becoming, of refining. And that's the greatest gift, this mystery that we get to behold ourselves to be, the fact that we have all the time we need. We can simultaneously. It is important that we know when the time is to let that movement, that force, to move through us, when it's time to go for it, to time travel, to jump into now, to bring it all into here now, to move forward, to accelerate, but to equally relax and rest, as all of time buffers and collapses and neutralizes in the 0 point of our pure consciousness being. I know that it's taking care of itself, that we are in the perfect place, and that the exponential ascent and acceleration, the quickening happening at this time through us, promises that we shall transform and evolve as individuals and as a collective faster than we could ever even hope, and that there is only good promised for that, because the inevitable pattern of life's evolution and changing and transformation and transmutation is into more harmonic density, into more harmonic manifestation in the cycle of this time, out of the dark age, out of the immaturity of humanity, from the relative scale of how God, the creation, sees us. We're just babies. We are becoming, remembering our oneness with life, with creation, with the mother, and ascending more into our individuation, still at the very early ages of ascending more into individuation, which is inevitable. It will evolve far beyond what we could ever imagine. 2, 20, 50, 200, 500 years from now. And I honor each of us as ancestors and channels for that miraculous future to blow us away with how perfectly everything we needed to happen through us happened, how perfect we were as part of a divine plan, as agents of change. And humanity's arduous process of transforming, it's a shit ton of work. This isn't basic shit. Like, this is time when it's no longer baby business. This is when we evolve and mature. So of course it takes time. We just don't give ourselves permission to really honor the process of transforming and evolving as a species, transmuting all this shit in such a short notice, such a rapid time. This is unparalleled business that we're in. So a reminder of grace, that grace is weaving it, grace is holding space for it. All of life is supporting us in this process because it knows how challenging it is, and we can stop to reflect in this Jewish New Year on how fast, how well it is changing, it is happening, and allow ourselves grace as we buffer and know that the sweeping, the rise is inevitable as we allow that responsibility to fill us up, to know the aim, and that we can realize all that here and now, even as we become more of that forever and ever. Blessings. Yo!